From Tiger Stadium in Detroit, it's the 1968 World Series replay as the St. Louis Cardinals face the Detroit Tigers in Game 5 of the World Series. The Cardinals lead the replay series 3-1, as they did in real life in 1968. We'll see if history repeats itself and the Tigers come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the series in 7 games. I will be using the actual lineups used in that original historical game. So in Game 5, Detroit in real life won that game 5-3 behind Mickey Lolich, who pitched a complete game, only giving up 3 runs, of course, over 9 innings to the Cardinals, with Nelson Briles starting the game, but Joe Horner losing the game in relief as the Tigers struck for 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to come back from a 3-2 deficit to win that game 5-3. This game was originally played on Monday, October the 7th, 1968, in front of 53,634 spectators. The umpires, Doug Harvey, worked the plate. Bill Haller was at first, Tom Gorman at second, Jim Honachek at third, Stan Landis in left, and Bill Kinnaman in right field. So we'll now give you those lineups for today's game. For the visiting St. Louis Cardinals, Lou Brock leads off and plays left field. Batting second is Julian Javier at second base. Curt Flood hits third and plays center field. Orlando Cepeda bats cleanup and plays first. Mike Shannon will play third base and bat fifth. Tim McCarver will be behind the plate hitting sixth. Ron Davis will replace Roger Maris in right field and bat seventh. Dal Maxville will be the shortstop hitting eighth. And on the mound, as I mentioned earlier, Nelson Briles for the Cardinals. For Detroit, Dick McAuliffe leads off and plays second. Mickey Stanley will play short. Al Kaline will be in right field hitting third. Norm Cash will bat cleanup and play first. Willie Horton will be in left field hitting fifth. Jim Northrup will play center field and hit sixth. Bill Freehan will catch and bat seventh. Don Wirt is back in the lineup today, hitting eighth. And Mickey Lolich will be on the mound. So let's get this game underway. Here's Lou Brock leading off against Mickey Lolich. He is hitting .526 in this series. So here we go with Game 5. Brock to lead off. And there is a line out to McAuliffe at second base, 1 out. Here's Julian Javier, the second baseman. Javier hitting .200. Sliced into center field for a base hit single as Javier comes up at first. So now here's Curt Flood. .263 for Flood. And he takes a call. Third strike. 2 outs for the Cardinals with Cepeda up. Orlando hitting .312. Winding the pitch. Pop up. And McAuliffe in the short grass in right field makes the play for the third out. Cardinals leave a man on. They go to the bottom of the first with the Tigers up with McAuliffe to lead off, followed by Stanley and Kaline facing Nelson Briles. Here's McAuliffe. Dick McAuliffe with a liner to Javier at second base, 1 out. Here's Mickey Stanley, only hitting .067, batting in the 2-hole, playing shortstop. Grounder to Javier, picks it up, over to Zepeda, 2-man out. Here's K-Line, 500 in the World Series, and he's going to get a walk. So K-Line is at first with Norm Cash behind him. Cash hitting 176. Cash. Grounder to Javier. He takes it unassisted to second base to erase K-Line. And the Tigers leave a runner on. So here is Mike Shannon hitting fifth and playing third. He's hitting .375. Shannon against Lolich. That's going to drop into left field in front of Horton for a base hit. So the Cardinals have a leadoff man on with McCarver now up. Tim is hitting 167, batting from the left side against the left-hander. Here's a ground ball through second base into right field. Base hit. Shannon is going to go all the way over to third and reaches safely on the throw from K-Line. So there was runners on the corners with nobody out for Ron Davis getting the start today in place of Roger Maris. Davis walks. So on a 3-2 pitch, Lolich walks him, and that's going to bring Dow Maxville up to the plate with the bases loaded and nobody out. Maxville, swing and a miss. Lolich strikes him out. Here's Nelson Briles. Tries to keep the inning alive here. Briles takes a call, third strike, 2 outs. Lolich 1 out away from getting out of it. Here's Lou Brock. He's 0 for 1, hitting .500. Brock, swing and a miss, and Lolich is going to strike out the side. And the Cardinals leave the bases full in the top of the second, with the Tigers coming up to the plate at the bottom of the second with Willie Horton, Jim Northrup, and Bill Freehan. Here's Horton, 200. Grounder over on the line at third. Shannon reaches for it, throws it over to Zepeda, makes it 1-man out. Here's Northrup, 111 for Northrup. Way overdue. Pitch. That ball is going to get into left field in front of Lou Brock for a base hit. So Northrup slices a single to left field. And here's Freehan. Freehan, 286. Hart ground ball to Maxville, over to Javier, over to Zepeda, 6-4-3 double play, and that's going to erase the bases for Detroit. And so we move to the top of the third with the Cardinals leading off with Julian Javier, followed by Kurt Flood and Orlando Zepeda. Here's Javier. Grounder, third, work up with it, sharply hit, but throws it over to Cash for the first out. Here's Flood. 0 for 1 now, hitting .250. Base hit. Nope. That's going to be a liner to Wirt. It looked like a hit, but it did not get out there. So Wirt makes the put out for 2 outs, and here's Zepeda, 0 for 1. Orlando. Line in the pitch. Fly ball right. K-Line drifts a couple of steps up, and he makes the squeeze on that one, and that's going to retire beside for the Cardinals. And we go to the bottom of the third with Wirt, Lolich, and McAuliffe set to hit. Here's Don Wirt. Ground ball. Maxville picks it up, throws it over Zepeda. The throw's a little bit high, but Zepeda pulls it down, 1-man out. Here's Mickey Lolich. Lolich hitting .500 in the series. Fly ball left. Brock moves just a step or two, and he makes the play for 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Dick McAuliffe. McAuliffe hitting .250. He's 0 for 1 today. Wide, and the pitch by Briles. Grounder to Zepeda. Briles over to cover. It's a 3-1, and that retires the side for Detroit. So we move to the fourth, scoreless tie. Here we go. Here's Mike Shannon up. He's 1 for 1 on the day. He's now hitting .412 in the series. Shannon is going to drop one in right over Mickey Stanley's right shoulder, and that ball is in the left field for a base hit. 2 for 2 now for a hot-hitting Mike Shannon. Here's McCarver. He's 1 for 1 today. Tim batting from the left side. And that's going to be a walk. So McCarver, he was hit by a pitch. McCarver reaches on a hit by a pitch, and here's Ron Davis, the right fielder. walked his first time up. 2 on, nobody out. Davis, grounder to Stanley, over to McAuliffe. They get the force out at second, but that's the only play that's made. So the Cardinals have runners on the corners for Dow Maxville with 1 man out. Maxville up, swings and a misses. Lolich blows a pitch by him for the out number 2. And here's Nellie Briles with a chance to help himself. And that ball's going to get past. Freehand. Shannon comes in to score. Davis moves to second. And the Cardinals get the first one on a wild pitch by Mickey Lolich, and they lead it 1-0. Here's Briles up. 1 ball and no strikes. Winding the pitch, deep into the hole. Stanley all the way over to first. He makes a great play to retire Nelson Briles, but the Cardinals take the lead on a wild pitch by Mickey Lolich, and they now lead it 1-0. So here's Mickey Stanley, 0 for 1 on the day. 0-62 batter. Stanley is going to line one right out to Julian Javier, just a few feet beyond the bag on the right side of the infield, so that makes it 1 out. Here's K-Line hitting an even 500. Al up. Pitch. Grounder to the right side. Cepeda picks it up, takes it to the bag himself, and that makes 2 outs for the Tigers. And here's Cash. 0 for 1, 167 for Norm. Winding the pitch. Looper to the left side, but Maxville backs up to the edge of the grass and makes the play, and the Tigers go down. So we move to the 5th. 1-0 St. Louis, and here's Lou Brock. Brock is 0 for 2 on the day. Winding the pitch by Lolich. Fly ball into the gap. Northrop all the way to the wall. Brock is going to turn, and he is going to slide into second base with a double. So the Cardinals have their leadoff man on second with Julian Javier up. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Javier, Brock at second. Fly ball. Northrop rushes in, gets the ball quickly back in as Brock returns to second, and that's 1 out. So here's Flood with a chance of driving another run. 238 average for Flood. Flood, ground ball to Stanley. Stanley up with it over to Cash. 2 men out, but Brock moves to third. So here's Cepeda with a man on third and 2 outs. Cepeda 0 for 2 on the day. Cepeda swings and misses as Mickey Lolich blows one by him, and the Cardinals leave a runner in scoring position on. As we move to the 5th with a 1-0 lead for Nelson Briles. Briles has now thrown 46 pitches. And so here's Willie Horton, 0 for 1 on the day, batting 188. Horton up to face Briles. It's going to be a liner in the center field for a base hit. Flood moves in to pick it up, and Willie Horton is on first for Jim Northrop. Northrop 1 for 1. Winding the pitch. Northrop with a ground ball to Cepeda. Cepeda goes down to Maxville at second base to get the leading runner. And Northrop is going to be safe on the fielder's choice. So here's Freehand, 0 for 1, hitting 267 in the series. Freehand with a deep ball, but it's going to be caught by Brock. It looked like it was going to carry a little bit, but it didn't. Brock barely had to move to catch that one. 2 outs. So here's Don Wirt. Wirt is still looking for his first hit in this World Series. 0 for 1. He is 0 for 12 overall in the series. So here's Wirt with a chance. Grounder, Maxville rushes into the infield, throws it down to Javier at second, and to get the leading runner. So that retires the side for the Tigers as we go to the top of the 6th with a 1-0 lead. Lolich still in there. He's thrown 73 pitches. Here's Mike Shannon, 2 for 2 on the day with a run scored. Rewinding a pitch by Lolich. Swing and a miss. Shannon's going to go down. 1 out. Here's McCarver, 1 for 1 on the day. Tim batting now 211 in the series. McCarver up with it. That ball is going to be ripped down the right field line. K-Line moves over for it. He's going to get the ball back in, but McCarver slides into second base with a double. So the Cardinals have a runner in the leadoff runner scoring position with 1 out. And here's Ron Davis. 0 for 1 on the day for Davis. And he's walked. Ron hits a ground ball down to Wirt. Wirt looks the runner back over to Cash. 2-man out. So Maxville with a chance to get a run in here with needing a 2-out hit to give the Cardinals some breathing room. They pitch out, and they do end up intentionally walking Maxville. So that's going to bring up Briles. And Briles is going to stay in the game. Swing and a miss. Lolich gets him. That is Lolich's 8th strikeout of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So he is pitching a gem, but his team has yet to score a run. So Lolich is now up. And he's going to bat. Grounder, left side. Shannon over to Cepeda. 1-man out. Top of the order, McAuliffe, 0 for 2. McAuliffe, fly ball, over the head of Ron Davis. Ron picks up off the wall. McAuliffe is going to take 3, and Dick McAuliffe is going to be safe at third on a triple. So the tying run is on third with 1-man out for Mickey Stanley, hitting 0.59. Briles checks, pitch. That ball is going to be laced into left field for a base hit, and Detroit just ties this game up 1-1 on an RBI single by Mickey Stanley. And here's K-Line. K-Line is 0 for 1 with a walk today. Stanley at first. 1-man out, 1-1. K-Line up, winding the pitch. He strikes out K-Line out. K-Line sits down with 2 outs, and here's Norm Cash, 0 for 2. Briles winds, pitches. Cash slices one in the center, but Flood is there to pick it up, but they score the tying run on a leadoff triple by Dick McAuliffe, and that's 1-1. So now we have Lou Brock is going to lead the top of the 7th off, to be followed by Javier and Flood. Here's Brock, 1 for 3 on the day. To face Lolich, he's now thrown 87 pitches. Brock lifts one to right, and K-Line is there for it. 1-man out. Here's Julian Javier, 1 for 3. Javier is caught looking. 9 strikeouts on the day for Mickey Lolich. He's now thrown 96 pitches. Here's Kurt Flood. Flood, grounder down to third. Wirt picks it up over to first. Cash retires the runner with the play. And that leads us to the bottom of the 7th inning with Willie Horton to face Nelson Briles. Here's Horton, 1 for 2 on the day. And he's going to draw a walk. Here's Northrop. See if the Cardinals get any bullpen activity going. Ground ball, Javier, over to Maxwell, back over to Cepeda. 46-3 double play. And it's 2-man out for Bill Freehan, 0 for 2. Now hitting 250 in the series. Winding the pitch. Swing and a miss. Briles still has it, but only his 2nd strikeout of the day. But he keeps the Tigers in check, and it's now moved to the top of the 8th, 1-1. Here's Cepeda, hero in yesterday's game with an RBI, double down the line, but he's 0 for 3 today and is in need of a hit. Lolich pitching. Cepeda, right side. Cash picks it up, takes it to the bag unassisted for the first out. Here's Mike Shannon. Shannon 2 for 3 with a run scored. Lolich still in there. And Shannon's going to rip a ball down the left field line. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Horton is up with it. And he gets the ball back in, and Shannon has his 3rd hit of the day. And that's going to be all for Mickey Lolich. We'll see a double switch here. So Eddie Matthews is going to come in and bat the 9 position and play 3rd base. And Johnny Wyatt is going to come in and pitch for Detroit. And bat in the number 8 hole, in 8th spot. So Ron Wyatt in. To pitch, and will bat 8th, and Eddie Matthews is now in the game at 3rd base. So here's Wyatt to face McCarver. It's 1-1 with Mike Shannon on 2nd. 1 out. McCarver, 2 for 2 on the day. See if he can get an RBI here. Here's Wyatt looking in. Winding the pitch. McCarver out to right field. K-line has it. 2 outs. Here's Ron Davis up. 0 for 2. Davis swings and that ball's ripped on the left field line. Past Horton. Horton brings it back in. And Davis is going to knock in the go-ahead run with a double. And that makes it a 2-1 Cardinals lead. Here's Dow Maxville up 0 for 2. Wyatt checks in. Maxville to right field. K-line has it. And that's going to retire beside. But the Cardinals pick up a very big run on the RBI by Ron Davis. Ron Davis with the RBI. And Briles is out there now. He's thrown 90 pitches. He is due up. So I made a mistake. But that's okay. I made the double switch in the wrong position. But that's quite all right. I'm going to lift Wyatt out of the game anyway. And we're going to bring Gates Brown up to pinch hit for him. So the pitcher spot is still going to stay 8th. That was a little bit of a cross-eyed thing for me. Anyway, Gates Brown is 0 for 3, and he is going to bat for John Wyatt in the bottom of the 8th with the Tigers down 2-1. Brown, ground ball, Maxville, up with it. Over to Cepeda. Cepeda has to reach a little bit, but he's got it. 1 out. Here's Matthews, who came into the game for Don Wirt because I didn't get the double switch right. But here's Matthews. And that ball is going to be ripped in the right field for a base hit as Matthews makes it to first. He's now hitting 500 in the series. Not a whole lot of speed at first in Matthews. Here's McAuliffe. 1 for 3 for Dick. That ball is going to go through in the base hit. That ball went right back up the middle. And the Cardinals are going to take Nelson Briles out of this game now. Let's see if I can get this double switch right. So, Schofield is going to come in and bat in the 9th spot and play shortstop. And Joe Horner is going to come in and pitch and bat in the 8th spot. Okay, so that should work. So here's Horner in there in the 8th to face Mickey Stanley with 2 men on from Mickey. 2 men on for the Tigers with 1 out. Here's Stanley. He's 1 for 3. Let's see if he can do it. Tie this game up. Matthews down at second. Stanley, fly ball. That ball is going to be carried over the head of Kurt Flood. Flood has to go all the way back to the wall in left center field. He gets the ball back in. Eddie Matthews scores. Dick McAuliffe moves to third. And Mickey Stanley hits a run-scoring double to tie this game up at 2 apiece. So now we have K-line up. Let's see if AI will walk K-line in this particular position here. And they do walk him. So that may be a very good move on the part of the Cardinals. And Norm Cash is now up. He is 0 for 3 in this series, but has 4 RBIs. So let's see if he can capitalize on this. Horner in a bit of a jam. Runners at first, second, and third for Detroit with only 1 out. Here's Norm Cash. Wine in the pitch with the infield pulled in. Cash slices one to left. Brock has it, flips it back in very, very quickly. But McAuliffe has enough time to score, and they take the lead on an RBI sacrifice fly by Norm Cash. And it's now 3-2 Detroit. So here's Horton, 1 for 2. He still has runners at first and second with 2 outs, so another chance to score. That ball hit to right, but Davis is going to back up for it to the edge of the grass and make the play. But the Tigers get 2 runs. And now, let's see what they're going to do. Northrup will be the next hitter. So the 8th position will be the pitcher spot, and Pat Dobson is going to come in and try to close the door on the Cardinals as the Tigers, in a must-win situation, down 3-1. So here's Dick Schofield, who came into the game for Maxville on a double switch. Schofield is 0 for 1 in the playoffs. He's facing Pat Dobson. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Dick Schofield from Dobson. Pop-up. Stanley over, 1 out. Lou Brock up. 2 more outs for the Cardinals. Here's Brock, 1 for 4. Winding the pitch. Fly ball. That's ball. It's hit pretty well into the gap. Northrup over for it. He gets the ball back in, and Brock is going to coast in with a double. He's 2 for 5 on the day, so this game is not over. Here's Julian Javier. Javier 1 for 4. Runner in scoring position, 1 out. Javier, ground ball is deep at Stanley. Picks it up behind to the left of second base. And that's going to be 2 outs, but Lou Brock moves to third. Flood with a chance to tie the game up right here with a base hit. Dobson on the mound. Here's the wind and the pitch. Ground ball to McAuliffe. McAuliffe is up with it. Cash over for it. And the Detroit Tigers are going to win this game 3-2. They avoid elimination. And they're going to go back to St. Louis down 3-2. Is similarly to what they did in 1968. They won 5-3 that day. Today they win 3-2. So your totals: St. Louis scores 2 runs on 9 hits. They made no errors. They left 10 men left on base. That's the tail of the tape right there, folks. Detroit, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left 5 men left on base. John Wyatt gets the win. He's now 1-1 with Pat Dobson getting his first save. Nellie Briles takes the loss. He is now 0-2. And Horner is credited with a blown save, his second. We had no home runs in this game. And they vote Mickey Lolich as the player of the game. And that's going to do it, folks. Thank you for viewing this 1968 replay of Game 5 World Series. So we'll be back soon with another game for your pleasure. So until then, good night.